Now, also here, right off the top, should talk about this. On yesterday's John Campea show, we talked a little bit about the brand new rules that have come down from the Academy. New changes the Academy is going to be making to the Oscars. Now, two of the changes I applaud. Two of the changes I thought were very good. Change number one, committing to making the show no longer than 3 hours. That's a good change. That's a good change. And they said they would actually award a couple of categories during commercial breaks and then highlight them later in the show just to keep the show going. I like that move. I do. I think it's a positive mood. It's good for the show. The second change they said they're going to institute starting in 2020 was moving the Oscars 3 weeks up. So instead of being in the last weekend of February, it was actually going to be now in the first weekend of February. I think moving it a little bit earlier in the year is a good move. Again, I applaud those moves. I think those are good moves. However, the one that really caught the headlines was one of the most asinine, idiotic things ever to come out of the Oscars. And that was the idea of instituting a popular film, best popular film category. Of course, undermining everything that genre films are about and undermining everything that the Oscars are about. It's a lose-lose. Well, I wasn't the only. I thought maybe I'd be the only one moaning and complaining about it. But it was industry-wide. The backlash against this proposal has been industry-wide. Everybody from individual actors are getting on. Rob Lowe specifically got on and said, well, today's the day the Oscar dies. But everything from The Guardian to Variety to IndieWire, on and on, the industry-wide, people are speaking out against this ridiculous notion of most popular film. Now, for those of you who didn't watch my show yesterday, my main objections on the idea of a most popular film is this. Number one, it undermines and insults genre films. Because we are now living in an age when genre films, specifically comic book movies, higher form sci-fi, things like that, they are getting better and better and better. And they're actually starting to threaten for some of the major awards. Just this year, Logan got what is kind of claimed by the Academy to be got nominated for the third most important Academy Award. That is screenplay. There is no movie without a screenplay. And Logan was the first comic book movie ever to get nominated for that award. Crazy. So we're seeing this development and this growth, right? For the Academies now to step in and say, oh, we're going to kind of insult you now, and we're going to undermine all that progress you made, and we're going to make this participation award. Oh, look, we're making a nice little category just for you called popular movies. You're not good enough to win real Academy Awards. Pat them on the head. But don't you worry, we're going to give you your own little award. Isn't that great? Like, that's what they've done. What the Academy has done is said they've set up a kiddie table for these genre films. No, don't take the genre films seriously. Don't take comic book films seriously. Don't let them be in the running legitimately with the real best movies of the year. No, they can't handle that. Let's create a kiddie table. Yay! And what it does is it undermines all the incredible progress we've seen with genre films, particularly comic book movies. And it's a spit in the face to comic book movies. It also undermines the basic integrity of what the Oscars are. The Oscars are supposed to be about, because all your criticism and all the criticism I may have about whatever about the Oscars, still the underlying foundation is whether we agree with the decisions or not. The idea of the Oscars has always been reward and recognize excellence, the best. Now, we can agree or disagree on what is the best year, that's fine. But as long as you got that philosophical underpinning that this is about recognizing the best, now you're like, well, we won't really recognize the best, so let's take the ones that aren't nearly the best and give them their own category. It's ridiculous, and it undermines the very philosophical foundation of what the Oscars are, and it sets back the progress that comic book movies and genre movies have made by decades. And the entire industry is recognizing this. This is ridiculous. Now, the other thing that came out about this, not only is we're getting a lot of backlash from the industry, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, IndieWire, on and on and on. Not only are we getting massive backlash, but it's really come to light. New reports are coming out of where these changes really came from. Remember, I like two of the changes. Shorten the show. That doesn't affect the integrity of the Oscar. Move the date of the Oscars up. That doesn't affect the integrity of the Oscar. Creating a popular movie category. That affects the integrity of the Oscars. But at any rate, where did these really come from? More and more reports are coming out now that the real cause for these changes, and two of them are good, but it wasn't the Academy itself. It's ABC, the network that broadcasts the Oscars. The reports that I'm reading right now, and I cannot confirm this because I don't know anybody firsthand connected to the situation. I'm simply relaying the reports that I'm reading, all right? I have not spoken to anybody directly. I cannot confirm this independently, all right? Let's be very clear about that. That being said, the reports that we're reading now are saying the pressure for this has been coming from ABC, the television network that broadcasts the Oscars right now. It says they're the ones who are putting it on the Academy to shorten the show, but I'm all for that. To move the show up, I'm all for that. But to create fake participation award categories just so we can say, oh, look, guys, Infinity War's nominated. For what? Best Picture? No. Best Director? No. Well, what then? Best Popular Film. Isn't that good? Fuck you. Anyway, so it's ABC that's doing that just so they can say, look, guys, some of your favorite movies are nominated, even though they're nominated for pretend fake awards. The moment the Academy allows the television network that broadcasts the show to start dictating the integrity of the show, that is BS. And don't forget, who's behind ABC? Disney. One of the movie studios should not have this type of leverage to force or coerce the Academy and their integrity of how they maintain the show. Look, there are practical things you can do to make the show better. I agree. Shorten it up. Move some of the categories to commercial breaks. I'm fine with that. Move up the date. I'm fine with that. All that improves the show without touching the integrity of what the Oscars are. But once Disney sticks their nose in and starts trying to influence the integrity of the Oscars, John, it's not Disney, it's ABC. Well, Disney owns ABC, so whatever, I'll say ABC. Once ABC starts sticking their nose in and starts to influence decision-making that affects the integrity of the award and affects the integrity of the genre films that are getting better and better and better, that cannot be allowed. You can't allow this. It's ridiculous. And to all of my viewers, well-meaning viewers who have written to me, but John, I kind of like the idea of honoring the films that I go to see because, people write to me. I don't go to see a lot of the Oscar films. I'm not down with the dramas. I like my comic book movies. I like my sci-fi movies. It's kind of cool to see those honored at the Academy Awards. I appreciate that. The problem is it's not honoring them. It's laughing at them. It's like you're the unpopular kid who got invited to the party, not because they wanted to invite you, but because they wanted you there to laugh at them. That's what this is. They're creating a booby prize. They're creating a participation award. They're creating a kiddie table. This is not honoring comic book films. This is not honoring sci-fi films. This is not honoring genre films. It's spitting on them and creating a kiddie table and saying, don't you feel special? You get to sit at the special table. The kiddie table. It's ridiculous. And the notion that the Academy is allowing a television network owned by one of the major movie studios to influence decisions that affect the integrity of the show is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Again, I want to emphasize the positive. I applaud the other choices. I applaud the other decisions. Those are good decisions. You can't stop there, but that's a good start. Those are some good decisions. The Academy's been making a lot of good decisions over the past 2 or 3 years. They've been really making some positive changes, doing some positive things, making some positive, course corrections. I applaud it. But this one thing can't be overlooked. This is major. The whole industry recognizes that it's major. The actors are recognizing that it's ridiculous. Media outlets are recognizing that it's ridiculous. We, the movie fans, are recognizing it's ridiculous. They've got to kill this. They got to kill it. And I really, really hope they do. Anyway, guys, let's move on now to our main topics of the day.